Hey everyone, it's me again, and well, you already know the shtick, so let's get right into it. After doing Karaoke Meiji Jingu, later on in the week, I ended up going to Akihabara again with a friend, Haley. And, well, it was interesting. It was a little bit different. After we were checking out some of the stands that I ended up talking about in my last, like several videos back about Akihabara, we ended up going to this big mega store. It was a big shopping center. It was very interesting. They had all different types of, things. Like they had electronics, they had toys, they had a lot of machines. They had like the little, you put in a couple coins and then you're able to get like those little capsule toys. They had a lot of those. And they kind of had, they had like any which niche-y stuff you could find. They had bicycles, they had this, they had sports equipment, they had this thing. Like they had all, pretty much anything you could think of. It was in the store usually. And they had restaurants at the top. Unfortunately, we ate before that, but it was interesting. There were restaurants in the top. So oh, you're hungry from your shopping experience? Going up. But the reason I make a big deal about it is because I've never really been like a massive shopping center like that in the United States. Like as I think I've talked about in earlier videos, I'm from a relatively small city. So I'm not used to like the big shopping centers like in New York and in DC and whatever, where it's just multiple stories of just shopping. I'm not used to that. So it was just kind of overwhelming. Like they had all different types of stuff. Like we were in the toy section. Haley and I were just kind of looking around, and there was it was really younger children, and it had Disney toys. And one of the coolest things was that it had Mickey and Minnie in wedding clothes. Western style, like where it had Mickey in a tux and Minnie in a gown, but it also had Japanese style, so they're both in wedding kimono, and that was actually really cool. I don't know why. Apparently Disney is very popular here. You see a lot of Disney references, and in a lot of stores they sell Disney and a lot of relatively American United States animation stuff. Like in my host family's house, there's a lot of things that have references to Monsters Inc. which I find very interesting. But anyway, back to the shopping center. It was just, I don't know, it's weird. It didn't feel like I was in a different country going through the store, except for some of the the more cultural ethnic toys, Japanese, wedding style, Mickey and Minnie. I don't know, that was, that was different. But besides that, it had toys for babies, toys for children, had bikes. It was kind of any type of shopping center that I would imagine back in the States. So it's just interesting how it really wasn't all that different, besides the signs being Japanese. But after being here for a while, I kind of just ignored signs. I can't read kanji, so most of the signs I can't read that well. So I just subconsciously just been starting to ignore signs that don't have English on them. So just looking around, it was a similar concept. It was a similar experience to what I assume would be a shopping center in the United States. And I don't know, it was different. It was weird. It felt similar, but in a way it was different from the rest of what Akihabara has to offer. But it was very interesting. And well, after that, and later on in the week, I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, we ended up going up Mount Takao, which sounds cool. It wasn't a super tall mountain, but it was still pretty awesome. We ended up riding up, when we got there, we ended up riding up a ski lift type thing. So that was fun, because, I have a mild fear of heights, so that was mildly terrifying. But it was a beautiful view. It was just, I don't know, walking up the rest of the way, it didn't take us all the way up. But walking through was interesting to see, we got to see Tokyo from a distance, which was very interesting. But one of the more amazing things I thought about the whole experience was seeing all the different types of trees they had. The trees just they looked alien in a way. It wasn't oh, I'm on a different planet type deal. But it just seemed like, I mean, yeah, they're not a lot of. There's a good chunk of trees that aren't from the United States, or like they don't have any like counterpart. They're just different types of trees. So it was just interesting to see all these different trees, and I mean there were birds, but you couldn't really see many birds around. Like you hear them every so often, but you don't really. I don't know. I was a little surprised I didn't see more birds, because anytime I go outside, like where I live, like back in Virginia, you go outside most, like unless it's like winter, and you know the birds are like gone. But you know, like during the summer, you go outside, you hear birds chirping like almost all the time, and you can see them flying around doing every which thing, you know, mating or eating or doing whatever. It was just, it just reminded me of how little I've seen of birds, besides like massive crows that apparently eat the birds. Apparently, it's a problem. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see like the similarities and differences between that type of, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It wasn't like it was all that different, but it was just, it had this vibe. I don't know. It was just so peaceful that it kind of created these different connections back home. So it's kind of hard to quantify, really. But yeah. As soon as we got to the top of Mount Takao-san, with, you know, apparently they named mountains like san, like Mount Fuji is Fuji-san. And it was interesting, we could actually hear like thunder in the distance, because apparently we were semi close to Fuji-san, and apparently clouds will hang over the mountain. And apparently Julia Sensei told us this, that apparently the Japanese people say that Fuji-san is talking when the clouds are rumbling, like goes like normal clouds and like a storm type deal. And that was kind of interesting, because I've never heard of that. Like you always see that, but like I've never like really thought about it, never really heard of that before, because you know, not really near a lot like mountains that do that. But yeah, all I could say after that was Takao was it was fun and it was amazing, but whew, it was exhausting. It was definitely very tiring, and then getting back took a while. It was a long train ride out, but yeah, I can't really think of anything else much to add. But we're almost, you know, our time together's been short, but it's almost over. I'm probably going to try to get one more video out later on in the week. And then I'll probably have a conclusion video after the 15th. I'll be in Hawaii by then, but I'm going to try to do like a conclusion video. Kind of, you know, the whole accumulation of my experience here in Japan. And that'll be interesting, hopefully, for you all. But as for now, I'm going to be signing off. So I hope the rest of you have a good weekend, and hopefully you'll hear from me beforehand, but who knows? You know how I've been with this. So I guess I'll see you when I see you. Have a good weekend, everyone. Signing off.